Okay, and a comprehensive victory once again for Europe. It seems that, however you look at it, there's something about the European team which is just dominating the US. We've had one match where things came fairly close and right to the wire, but apart from that, again, we've seen a match where the European team were something like 70 points up compared to virtually nothing on the American side. Do you think there's something in particular about how the Europeans are playing which is causing such a significant difference here?
As funny as this sounds, it might purely be on the basis that obviously we've got the Discord, which a lot of the pilots use to team up. Maybe the EU pilot, the EU pilot might play together more often, so that's better as a team.
Okay, so this is the final match of 5, I believe. We might get a couple more squeezed in at the end, but we're going for the final conclusion. Will the EU make this a straight 5, or will the US North American team manage to get a score on the door? Tali, you were mentioning before how you think that it might just be that the EU team is a bit more organized or something like that. Do you think there's anything else there that could have been the differentiating factor?
No, as I said, it's just literally, I think, with teams, it's a lot of how you win and lose in Valkyrie, particularly in the tournament that I was in. It had more to do with the team talking than how well they flied or how well they flew. For the final in particular, going into it, because I was watching obviously most of the matches because I got knocked out in the first round myself, it seemed that Quantum's team was the better team out of him and Juan, but Juan still won because his team worked better together at the end. So it could just be purely on the basis that these guys are used to flying with each other, know what each other can do. At the end of the day, that's how you win matches in Valkyrie, is just team composition and the teams knowing each other.
And this time around, we've got a different style of match. So for the past 4 matches, we've had a control point. This time we've got a straightforward team deathmatch. So it's whoever can get more kills on the board that counts here. You can see that that kill count is already fairly flat at the moment. We're not getting any significant impression one way or the other what way it's going to go.
And maybe it could have also been the matches, because obviously when you're playing Valkyrie, the match type is random, so it might just have been experience of the team on control matches over the other team maybe getting more death matches. So maybe the last match will go to the US.
It's very, very possible. Although we're seeing the EU team just creep ahead slightly, but it is literally just borderline. We've got a 10-minute match here. This map, which is a Kaldari shipyard, it has a lot of secret passages that people can fly down, a lot of hidden areas, a lot of scaffolding, pipe work, ducting, and all that kind of stuff that you can really use to your advantage, particularly if you've got a ship on your tail that you really, really want to try and avoid.
What I've noticed as well is fighters do actually tend to have a larger advantage in this map, because there's like gaps between scaffolding, and I don't think a heavy can get through it, but a fighter can actually fly in between them. It doesn't look like it should be able to, but I think it can. So
yeah, I would definitely agree with you there, Tally. I much prefer flying fighter on this particular map purely because it is so nimble. You can pull very tight turns. You can go flying down some of the larger tubes that we might get a look at a bit later on. It can be an incredibly tight experience if you really need to get yourself away from trouble quickly.
Yeah, I mean, I mostly watch a WAN stream because he is basically the most streamer out of everyone just now, and you see him occasionally fly through things, and he uses the scenery a lot to get either behind a ship or in front of a ship so that he can get away.
Yep, definitely. In fact, we're flying with WAN 5 at the moment. You can see the score very, very even. He is wailing away on his particular target at the moment, but he's struggling to make a dent in him.
I believe he was getting hit by a support as well, which makes it a lot more difficult, even though most heavies have a tendency to have more armor than they have shield. A support on a heavy is still going to negate some damage, obviously taken from fighters. The fighters need preferably 2 people to take out a heavy before it basically takes out one of them.
Yep, that's exactly it. We're also seeing at this kind of halfway point in the map, we are really struggling to see any team make any clear headway at the moment. Both teams seem to be neck and neck, around about 35 each from what we're seeing. And it's going to be really tough to try and call a winner here.
I think this one will actually go to time by how many people are dying and how long it's taking for the counter takedown. So it'll be an interesting match if it goes to time and one team wins.
I think you're probably right there. One of the things that we are looking forward to in one of the upcoming updates, so I think it's May the 17th, we're seeing a patch update. They're making some tweaks to the team deathmatch experience, so you'll find we have fewer ships. I think each team will start with 30 rather than 50, so that it will count down to 0 much less often, in theory. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But as you can see from this side, even with all of this carnage going on at the moment, and you can see Quantum Delta there really getting bathed in flak, and WAN 5 really trying to tear after some more kills, but really struggling. It really feels like the US have really started to pull their team together and really try and cling on and rescue some form of honor here.
You also notice some target selection as well from WAN and Quantum. They were going after the heavy, then they seen where the support was, and as soon as they locked on to where that support was, they were straight in for the support, because the support's the priority. Get rid of the heavy, although nasty. Heavy plus support is just a combo you don't want to go against.
Exactly. And there is no point at all wailing on a heavy ship while it's still being supported, because that support ship will just keep on blazing it in blue light and you will get nowhere. If you want to get the kill, you need to take down that support ship first. So we're now seeing a bit of a lead stretch open. The EU on 33 compared to North America on 23, with 3.5 minutes left to go in this match. It looks like EU are going to take this one as well and call it a clean 5-0 clean sweep.
I wonder if that's going to cause some rivalries.
I think there will be a rematch.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, we've also got the Battle of the Devs coming up as well. Battle of the Devs number 3, I believe it is, where players will be able to fight against the creators of the game over in Newcastle.
Just
and
to
I think
cut in for a sec.
Mhm.
If you look just now, you'll see how much a support changes it. With Quantum chasing down that person, he was getting heals from a support ship, and you notice he wasn't even making a dent. He was hitting with every shot. So flying a support and having it support you does make a difference, specifically against one fighter, maybe even 2. I think there was at one point. And the other tactic they're using as well is to stay as close to the heavy as possible, because it's harder to track when someone's right in your face.
Yep, definitely. It's there are various different things you can do in terms of positioning, and it's fantastic to try and get that pilot cam. Looking at WAN 5, the slight glimmer of red over his ship means that he's being debuffed by a enemy support vessel, which is just eating away at his shields.
And another point to note, when you're getting debuffed, it actually increases the damage dealt to you from other sources. So if anyone hits him while he's getting debuffed, he takes more damage. So it's the point of, I think, supports is you're either attacking or defending at one point. As I said, there's no way you should be able to fit in that space, but
Yeah,
it's
yep. It's really surprising to see the nooks and crannies that people can cram into in the fighter, because it's such a tiny, agile ship. It's fantastic. It's one of the reasons why I really enjoy flying it in this particular map.
That's why I really do enjoy it. I mean, I play EVE as well, and I'm a Dramiel or Daredevil pilot mainly. So, for collisions, because you notice that the heavy was effectively getting shunted along by Wan's fighter. The collision damage, all collisions do damage, but it's based on how fast the object you're hitting is moving, as well as how fast you're moving. So if they're flying into each other, they'll take more damage. But at that point, it was the fighter pushing the heavy, so the heavy isn't actually taking any damage from the fighter at all because it's not moving.
Yeah, it's a really interesting setup. You also get collision damage on off the surroundings as well. So if you don't get that really tight turn and manage to slot into the nooks and crannies that you find in this shipyard, you can easily start scraping away your hull.
They seem to be killing each other at the same rate. It just seems that the EU team has had a slight advantage to begin with. So because they're now down to 23 and they've just went down to 9. So it's still, they're killing each other with equal ferocity. It just seems that the advantage is just going to hold out till the end.
Yeah.